Good morning, everybody. My name is Julie. Welcome to yoga class through Gilda's Club of Rochester. We're going to do some standing work today, working on a little bit of balance and movement. So if you'd like to have a chair nearby, please feel free to put a chair near your mat. Also, if you're near a wall, you may be able to use a wall to help you with some of the balance work as well. Having the wall right behind your back for some of the balance work may make you feel a little bit more stable as you build your balance. As usual, please don't do anything that hurts or feels very uncomfortable. Don't do anything that your doctor or healthcare provider has told you not to do. Work at your own pace. It's not that working on balance is hard, it's just that it's something we don't do particularly. And balance in yoga is actually created in between the yoga postures, in the moving from one to the other. Because if you think about it, when do you use balance the most? When you think you're going to fall, when you are in, it may be tripping or beginning to lose your footing to bring yourself back. That's when we use balance the most. So it makes sense that moving from one yoga posture to another is where you build that courage, that muscular strength, so that you can create stability by using all the muscles in your body coming together. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to move from one standing posture to another to help us create, or strengthen our sense of balance. And there are some pieces in here that you can actually practice, without the video as well. So that's kind of cool. Or you can always just replay the video, whatever works for you. Again, my name is Julie. Welcome. So let's start standing in mountain posture. Now, mountain posture is also called Tadasana, which is a Sanskrit word. I have a Rochester A vowel, so when I say Sanskrit words, they sound really awful, so I tend to not use them as much, but it is called Tadasana, standing steady. Go ahead and lift up your toes, lift up the balls of your feet, lift up your toes, wiggle them a little bit maybe, and then place them back down on the mat or the towel or the floor that you're using. Lift up the heels a little bit here, so rock back and forth from heel to toe. You'll notice that the faster you do movements, the easier it seems to be on your balance. When you slow them down, it gets a little bit more challenging. Lifting up the balls of the feet or the toes, lifting up the heels. You don't have to lift up very high, right? It's just a little bit here and there. Woo! Yeah, notice how challenging that can be. Maybe go a little bit more slowly. And place back down. Standing in Tadasana, we want to feel rooted in the ground. So the bottoms of the feet, you can spread the toes a bit, feel the heel rounding down. Lift the inner arches of the feet, however. When you think about lifting the inner arches of the feet, you can feel the muscles contract all the way up through the front of your thighs. That's a beautiful thing. Unfortunately, here where we are in the United States, we have issues with our posture. A lot of us have issues with our posture. So we tend to push forward with the thighs and tuck the tailbone under. So when you lift the inner arches, when you plant through the balls and the heels of the feet, think about lifting up through the crown of your head. You'll notice your thighs want to move back, and that's perfect. That's beautiful. So it doesn't matter how wide apart your feet are. If they're as wide as your hips are about right here, as wide as your hips, or a little wider for stability, that's fine too, because we know standing wider is going to create more stability. Okay? And relax the arms. Let's just breathe a few breaths. Inhale, lift the shoulders. Exhale, release them down your back. It's a wonderful thing to do as often as you like during the day. Inhale and exhale. And then inhaling, lifting the shoulders up, exhaling, drawing them back, and then just soften or release them down. The palms turn open just a bit here naturally. Just a natural action of the upper arm bone. Find where the tops of your ears are now and draw them straight up towards the ceiling. You'll notice this may bring your chin down a little bit. That's awesome. That's straightening out, lengthening through the neck, through the cervical spine. Inhale here. Exhale, look out over one shoulder, keeping the chin parallel. On the next inhalation, come to center. Exhale, look out over the other shoulder. And do that a few more times. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and back to center. Inhale here. Exhale, bring the ear towards your shoulders. So you may be noticing that your legs are working. Correct? So you feel maybe the front thighs lifting up a bit. The knees can be slightly bent, okay? You don't have to lock or push out the joint. Just straighten the legs the best you can. Inhale, back up to center with your head. Exhale towards the other shoulder. When we do this with our head, we're just letting gravity and the weight of our head help us get a stretch in the opposite side of the neck, right? Help us open that area up. And back up to the center position. Rolling the shoulders once more. Inhaling now, lifting the arms up, and exhaling then the hands down to heart center. When you bring your hands to heart center like this, it does more than just press one palm against the other. Inhale up and exhale. There's actually different nerve endings and different energy channels through the hand and through the fingers, through the palm itself and through the fingers. And so bringing your hands together in that way can also kind of help bring the right and left hemispheres of your brain together. So it's a nice thing to do, and it feels good. And exhale. Let's take a big inhale up now, separating the hands, and just breathe right here. Imagine that the shoulder blades are sliding a little bit more deeply down your back towards the back of your hips, and maybe the sternum or heart presses forward just a bit. Legs are steady, a little bit of a back bend here. You don't have to throw the head back. Wherever your heart points, that's where your face looks. Take a few breaths here, inhale here, exhale, hands up nice and wide. Roll the shoulders. Great job. So I'd like to get a little movement in, okay? Like I mentioned, a little bit of flow. So we're gonna move from standing on one leg to standing on the other. This is where you may wanna have your chair for support. Place a chair near you, or if you're near a wall, you know, I have a little wall right here. I can place my hand right on the wall. You can do that, okay? Inhaling, exhaling, finding mountain or Tadasana position. By always coming back to Tadasana position, we increase that sense of balance as well. Inhaling into Tadasana, exhaling, shift the weight to one leg, bring the opposite knee up, if only for a second, and back down. Tadasana. Inhale here, exhale, shift the weight, bring the other knee in. Breathe, 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 and release. So, inhale, exhale. Woo! Inhale, Tadasana, find your Tadasana. Exhale. Inhale, again, use a chair with your hand. Place one hand on a chair if that's what you need, okay? Inhale, exhale. We can make this a little bigger if you like. Inhale to tall Tadasana. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Inhale. Remember, the stepping back to the Tadasana position is part of the balance practice. If you want to see me from the side, I'll show you. One knee up. Beautiful. And inhale. And the other leg. Very good. One more time. Inhale. One each side. And it's okay if you have to put your back up towards the wall, so that you have it there for you, or if you use one hand on a chair. Awesome. Shake it out just a little bit. Now, if you really want to challenge your balance a bit, and again, you can use a chair, you can use the wall, like I have here if you like. Stand on the one leg, find Tadasana. Balance and stand on the one leg. Just lift the knee a little and circle the ankle. One direction and the other. You can also do this with the ball of your foot on the floor. Circle the heel one direction or the other. Okay, so you have two options there. Back to Tadasana and to the other foot. Again, if you have balance or want to use your chair, lift the knee just a little and circle the ankle one direction and the other. Or you can leave the toes on the floor and circle the heel in one direction and then circle the heel in the other direction. Awesome. Nice. So from the mountain position, we're talking about balance here. So we're going to use some of the standing yoga postures. But before we do that, we're going to warm up our spine a little bit. So we're going to step a little bit wider, maybe even off the edge of the mat. And you can turn your toes out just a little bit. And we're going to take a seat. So you can see me from the side. I'm going to take a little bit of a seat. So I feel the weight through the heels of my feet. So if you can see my belly area here. On an inhale, I'm going to roll the shoulders back, stick my tailbone up, and let my belly hang down. Breathe. On the next inhale, I'm going to pull my belly in, round my back. My tailbone's going to tuck under, releasing the head. Awesome. and you're gonna go back and forth. This is cat and cow. Cow pose, you can inhale. Cat pose, you can exhale. Or you can hold each one for a few breaths. So you don't have to sit down very deeply. And if you have a chair and you'd like to sit in the chair towards the edge of the chair and do this, go right ahead and do that. This is usually done on all fours. Notice the muscles that you're using though when you're standing and doing this. You're really using the back muscles in the cow pose, and you're really pulling the belly and the waist muscles for the cat pose. Beautiful. They don't have to be big. They can be very small. You don't have to bend and unbend the knees. Just feel it happening at the hips and the shoulder joints. And then come back up to standing. Stepping in. There's many things that we can do for warm-ups. One of my favorite things to do is called sunflowers. So you can turn side on your mat. I will stay to the front so you can see me best, okay? So you can turn side on your mat if you like and just listen to me, or if you can see me. Widen the feet fairly wide apart. Not so wide that you feel like you're gonna split in two, but not so narrow. The closer your feet are together, the less opportunity for flexibility you're gonna have, and you won't be able to make as large a movement or as deep a movement. But that's okay if you do the best that you can. So if you have a wide position here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna bend the knees and move these hip creases back. So you're gonna bend the knees like a squat. Make sure the knees and toes are going in the same direction for safety. You're gonna hinge at the hip, bend the knees a bit, nice. And imagine you're pulling up or grabbing some flowers, and then push into the heels and come back up. So from the side, it looks like this. Inhale up, exhale, bend the knees, hinge at the hip so your back doesn't get round. Nice, and inhale up. So the deeper you squat and hinge, the more challenging it is. So if your feet are closer together and this is difficult, you just go a little bit, and that's okay. Inhale and exhale. We want the back to stay neutral, so we don't want to arch the back like cow pose, and we don't want to round the spine like cat pose. Inhale up and exhale, whoosh, and inhale up, pressing down into those heels, down into that posterior chain of muscles along the back body that helps us stand up. And one more. And hands to heart center. Great job. Step the feet in, nice and easy. Heel toe, heel toe. So that's going to build a little balance as well, as you probably noticed, and maybe warm you up a bit, which is a beautiful thing. Let's come back to Tadasana or mountain pose. So working on those transitions, being able to come back to mountain pose from whatever position we're in, teaches us how to catch ourselves when we start to trip. Standing steady, mountain pose. Take a moment in mountain pose. This is a balance as well. Feel your toes. Lift and lower the toes or the heels. Feet should be kind of parallel to each other, not turned out like a duck, but parallel. And wider is more stable, so choose what works best for you, but hips width is about neutral. Roll those shoulders up, back and down, relax the arms. Gently draw up through the tops of the ears. Just take a moment. Close your eyes. Challenge your balance in mountain pose. Just notice what happens in mountain pose. We are never completely still. We think we are. I told my kids for years, stand still. But there's internal movement. Can you feel it? That rocking that maybe draws you to the heels more. It's the muscles on the back of your body that holds you up. So imagine widening and brightening the front of the body and laying it back across the muscles of the back body. You'll feel taller. You'll feel the more of the weight of your body move into the heels, and that's what the heels of your feet were designed for, to take all that weight, take all that impact. Very strong muscles of the back. Imagine you're laying the front body against the strength of the back body. Beautiful. So we're going to get ready to move. Inhale here. And as you exhale, bring your hands to heart center and step your foot back. This can be your left foot or right foot. You're going to step it back, not on a tightrope, not right behind the front foot, but out about hips width. And it's going to be turned out about 30 or 40 degrees, and that's fine. Straighten that back leg. Notice how that feels. Woo! Okay. Inhale here. Exhale. Lower the hips between your legs. Take a look at that front knee. Make sure it's pointing towards your second, third toes. Nice. Now lift the hips back up. The front knee straightens. Inhale here. Exhale. Lower the hips. One more time. Inhale. Lift. Exhale. Lower. We want the hips to decide how we feel here. You can decide how far apart your feet are. We just want to make sure that the knee points for the second, third toes is front knee. Place the hands at heart center. Feel the work evenly through the front leg and the back leg. And then reach the hands up, inhaling. Once more, open up your sternum or heart just a little bit towards the ceiling. So it feels like the back is arching from the lower spine to a little teeny bit of a back bend in the neck. Here comes the hard part. Inhale here, exhale your hands back to heart center. Inhale here, exhale, step back and into mountain pose as gently and gracefully as you can. Good job. Find that stability in mountain pose. I'm getting ready to step back with the other foot. Inhale here, exhale, step the other foot back. Again, it's turned out, it's about 40 degree, 30 degree angle. Inhale here, exhale, lower the hips down between the legs. Take a look at the front knee. We want it to point towards the second, third toes. We don't want the knee bowing inward or widening too far out. Inhale, lift the hips again. Exhale, lower the hips down between the legs. One more time, inhale. Exhale, lower the hips. Warrior position. Inhale the arms up. And exhale, breathe. Open up that sternum as if you're arching your whole back over a log. It's kind of what it feels like. The lower back, the mid back, a bit of the upper back. You don't have to throw your head back. But it's not about the head. The head follows what everything else is doing. Take a few breaths here. And then here comes the fun part. Inhale here, exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale here, exhale, step up to Tadasana. Very good. Let's do that again each time. See if we can make it a little bit more flowing or a little bit more graceful if that's possible. Inhale here, exhale, step that first leg back. Inhale here, exhale, lower the hips. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, big crescent here in this warrior one position. Then when you're ready, inhale here, exhale, step up, hands to heart center, Tadasana position. Good job. Inhale here, exhale, step the left foot back to warrior one. Inhale here, exhale, lower the hips, make sure you're right where you need to be. Inhale the arms up, lifting up through the sternum. When you're ready, on the next exhalation, hands to heart center, step up to mountain pose. Great job. Very nice. There is a specific set of postures that they did some scientific studies, and they put certain pieces of yoga together, certain postures they strung together, and if repeated in the order, can help, scientifically shown, to create better balance. So we're going to do one of those small series today, and that is mountain pose, chair pose, also called Utkatasana, and tree pose, called Vrksasana. Okay, so let's think about that, shall we? We're going to move from one to the other, so take it nice and easy. Start with your, again, have your chair nearby, or be back to a wall. Take yourself like a foot or so from the wall so you can sit in chair, so you know it's there for you. You can put your hand back on the wall. That'll work just fine. So standing in your mountain position, give yourself width, because if you really want to have more stability, then you can be a little bit wider apart with your feet. Just outer edges of the feet are parallel. Okay? Awesome. So we'll start with mountain. And from mountain pose, we'll inhale and exhale to chair pose. Inhale here, exhale, chair pose. So chair pose, I'm going to turn side. Chair pose is like taking a seat. You may notice that the big toe side of your feet want to lift up, press them back down. You don't need to sit way back. What you want to do is bend the knees as much as feels comfortable for you. Make sure that the knees don't knock into each other. Sitting back, hands to heart center. This is a little bit of a back bend, so we don't want to tuck everything under here. You want to sit back into the hips, low as you can, that's comfortable for you, and engage the belly so your back feels more supported. But the spine should feel neutral. There should be that arch in the lower back, a little bit of a back bend there. And then come on back up to Tadasana, inhale up, and exhale to Tadasana. Moving into tree pose, this is where you might want that chair next to your mat. From Tadasana pose, we're going to inhale and exhale into tree pose. Bring the hands to heart center, balance on one leg, rotate the other knee out. You can keep your toes on the floor and place the heel on the up above the ankle, or you can place the bottom of the foot on the inside of the calf. Just don't place the bottom of the foot on the inside of the knee. Press down to the earth with the standing foot and reach up through the tops of the ears. Inhale here, exhale, release. And we'll do that series once again. Mountain pose, inhale here, and exhale one more time, inhale and exhale. Now we're going to move into chair pose, inhale here, and exhale, chair pose, sitting back. Again, trying to not let the inner edges of the feet lift up. The inner arches can lift up, but you want to engage a little bit with those toes. You want to feel the hips lifting back behind you, but engage the abdominals as if you're trying to get the bottom part of the rib cage to hug in towards the right and left sides, to hug in towards the center. You don't have to lift your head way up. Keep your head nice and neutral in chair pose. Now we're going to get ready to come back to Tadasana and then into tree pose on the other side. Inhale up to Tadasana and exhale. Now we're going to balance on tree pose on the other side. Inhaling here, exhaling over. Turn. It doesn't matter how wide you turn your knee out at all. So just rotate it out to what works for you and bring the toes in. Good. And then you can bring the sole of your foot to the inside of your calf, but not the inside of your knee, okay? Because the legs are actually hugging in towards each other. You don't want to push that foot against the inside of the kneecap. And release. Great job. So moving from one of those poses directly to the other can help you increase balance. And this is something, again, you can practice at home. Okay? Starting with mountain. Inhale and exhale. And then move into chair pose. Inhale and exhale. And then right up into tree. Inhale and exhale. Bring the foot in. Standing nice and tall. Even hips. Inhale and exhale, Tadasana. Beautiful. Inhale and exhale, chair pose. Inhale and exhale, tree pose. Back to Tadasana. Let's do that again. And if you can't do it that quickly, it's okay. Okay? If you can do it more quickly, inhale, exhale, hey, go ahead and try that. But you can hold each one for a few breaths, but you'll get used to it. You get quicker at it as time goes on. And again, use a chair, use a wall if you need it, okay? Tadasana. Chair pose. Tree pose. Tadasana. Chair pose. Tree pose. Tadasana. And you can do whatever you need to do with the arms. Chair pose. Maybe you like the arms up. Tree pose. Maybe you like the hands up. Tadasana. Chair pose. Tree pose. Tadasana. One more time through, or rest if needed. Chair pose. Tree pose. Tadasana. Chair pose. Belly firm. Tree pose. Tadasana. Beautiful job. Beautiful job. So I'd like to do a little stretching on the floor, okay? So let's bring ourselves down so we can finish on the floor, a little stretching, a little relaxation. I'm going to angle my mat a bit. You can see me a little bit better. When coming down to the floor, please do your forward bend. Widen your feet. Inhale up. Remember what we did in those sunflowers? Bend the knees, hips back. Bring the torso down. Nice. Very good. So this is your forward bend, or you can use the chair to help you, and then step 1 foot back, and then the other, so you're in the all fours position. Great. We're going to come to lying down on the mat, okay? So lying down on your back. Awesome. When you lie down on the back, please, hands behind you, bring one vertebrae down at a time. Woo, we want to take our time with this. Great job. You bring the arms out to the sides. Just relax them, palms up. With the knees bent and the feet on the floor, you can walk your feet as far away from each other as they will go, as well as your knees. Inhale here, exhale both knees over to the left. You can feel the pelvis rock over to the left. So the right side of the pelvis is going to come up. You can hold this. This will stretch the front of the right hip and thigh. You can put your arms more up overhead like a Y shape if you like this. That's okay too, or not. And then inhale the knees up and bring them over to the other side. This is a great stretch for the hip flexor. This time we're rocking the hips over to the right side, and the left hip is coming up. And you can do this, hold it and breathe, or you can move with it a little bit and do it again each side, whichever works for you. Inhaling up, exhaling over. Whew. And inhaling up and exhaling over. And bring that back up. Walk those feet in towards each other. We can bring the knees in towards the chest, one knee at a time. Place the hands behind the thighs. Give yourself a little bit of a rock from side to side, or make some circles. You don't have to pull your knees in towards your nose. Just make some small circles. And it feels a little bit better to hold behind the thighs if you can. Holding onto the front of the kneecap and pulling is not always, the best idea. You may notice that sometimes that can feel uncomfortable. So hands behind the thighs is a great way to go. Comfortable and it's safe. Awesome. Placing both feet on the floor, just do a little outer hip stretch to finish. So you're going to bring the one knee in towards your chest and place that foot and ankle over the top of the other thigh. You're making a figure 4, or they call this thread the needle. Make sure that when you cross that foot and ankle over, you spread those toes and widen that knee out to the side. You want to feel something going on in that hip. So it's my right foot I have crossed over so I can feel a stretch in the back of my right hip. If you'd like to feel more of a stretch, you can place your hands behind the left thigh and bring that left foot off the floor to make this thread the needle pose. So you're more than welcome to do it this way, or you can keep the left foot on the floor. It's completely up to you. This is going to give you a bigger stretch if you lift that foot off the floor. So it's completely up to you. If it feels uncomfortable in the knee joint or the ankle joint, then you keep that foot on the floor. Just keep the toes bright on the crossed leg. Keep that kind of foot active so we can keep everything lined up. And then when you're ready, bring the foot to the floor, uncross, and switch to the other leg. You're going to spread your toes a little bit, cross that foot and ankle over the opposite thigh, and widen that knee out to the side. We want to keep the foot active because we know that if we're tight in our hip, so if I'm tight in my left hip, that can skew the alignment of my left knee and my left ankle. So if I keep the muscles a little activated by spreading my toes and activate the shin muscles, then I'm less likely to torque one joint away from the other because the hip joint is tight. Again, if it's comfortable for you and you're able to do it, you can take the opposite foot off the floor, hand behind the thigh. Okay, or you can use a strap. My thighs are big, so my hands don't always reach. You can use a towel or a strap here. That's okay. This is a very beneficial stretch, this outer hip stretch. You can do this sitting in a chair. So please, if you see something that you feel you can do sitting in a chair, do that. This is excellent to do in a chair as well. Each side. Try to do this every day, especially if you've been active. Just stretch those very strong external rotators that help us walk and climb. And then release. And release that. Good job, good job. So if you'd like to do one more twist, you can. Knees bent, inhale here, exhale the knees over to one side, arms are relaxed out. You can feel a gentle twist here. See if you can relax into it. You don't have to keep your knees stacked. You don't have to do anything special with your legs. If they fall open a little bit when you twist, it's okay. It's okay. You do the best that you can. Twists are really good. So if my knees are twisting over to the right, I can turn my head and look over my left shoulder, make it more of a total body twist. Without lifting my chin or tucking my chin, I'd rather keep my chin a little bit more neutral. So it feels better in my neck. Then I'm going to look back up the ceiling, inhale, and on my exhale, bring those knees up. Inhale and exhale, and over to the other side. I'm keeping my feet on the floor because we're relaxing. We're at the end of practice, so we want to let gravity and the weight of our body help us become a little bit more flexible here and create that ringing sensation in our torso to kind of wring out the toxins from our organs that's kind of soaking and squeezing, bringing fresh new lymph. It's a good thing. My knees are twisting over towards the left, so I'm going to turn my head to look over my right shoulder, keeping my chin nice and parallel. Just let gravity help you with this one. It's okay. And then an exhale, turn the head, and then another exhale, bring the knees up. Great job. So now it's time for Shavasana, and I hope that you do take the time for Shavasana. You can keep the knees bent and knock them together to relax in Shavasana if that feels good, or you can relax the legs out. Very often I will put a rolled up blanket or something behind my knees when I lengthen my legs out for Shavasana because it feels good, and it's good to do that. It feels good to my knees. Keep them a little higher than the hips, can feel really good on your lower back. So you can put something underneath the back of the knees here, relax the arms out. This is Shavasana. Rock a little bit across the back of the head. Still imagine lifting up through the tops of the ears right to the back wall behind you so the chin becomes parallel. Very easy to tilt and lift the chin. Think of it as you want the chin and the forehead to be on the same level. See if you can make that happen. Take a nice big inhale, and as you exhale, completely relax. Sink into the support of the ground. Close your eyes, please, now. Just relax. I am a firm believer in the power of Shavasana. It's one of the most powerful poses and probably one of the most difficult ones as well. Okay? In Shavasana, you can always put a small pillow underneath your head. You can do whatever works to make you more comfortable. Put a blanket over you. Whatever's going to make you comfortable. But in the Shavasana, move back to some focus on your breath. Inhale the breath. And to exhale the breath. This may feel like a flow in of itself, a practice in the balance between your mind and your body, the practice of balance maybe between your body and your emotions today, or whatever that is that you're trying to bring together. The word yoga means union. So what would you like to bring into more harmony? Focus on that with your breath, inhaling to whatever you want to bring in, whatever you want to open up to, and exhaling to whatever you need to let go of to create more harmony. Practice your Shavasana as long as you like. And remember, when it's time to come up from aligned posture, bend the knees, roll over onto your side, and use the power of drawing your abdominals in to help you press back up to seated. Thank you so much for joining me for yoga practice today. The word namaste in Sanskrit means to bow, strictly translated. When you bow to someone, it's because you're showing them honor and love, okay? So I bow to you. Thank you for joining me today for yoga practice. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. May we all find peace, no matter what we are given. Namaste. Thank you very much.